sports fans, and welcome to Oklahoma Sports Report OU Football Edition. I'm Heath, with me Mark Rodgers, and we are at the garage on Main Street in Norman, where you cannot beat the burgers and the beer here at the garage. What a great place it is, Mark.
Oh, it's outstanding. I love all the food here, and it's the best burgers in town.
Best burgers and the coldest beer is what they tell me, and I'm all for that. So I'm all about it. Speaking about all about it, how about OU being all about it in Tulsa? Put a hurricane whooping on University of Tulsa.
Yeah, it's just these early games, it's kind of hard to tell what the opponent has to do with OU's performance and success, but it looked like a lot different offensive team. They were able to throw the ball down the field. They were able to dominate defensively. It was a really good win. I don't think they could have played much better than they did on Saturday.
Well, you know, and Tulsa was a good host. they gave back, especially in the first quarter. You know, and that didn't help. When you're undermanned like Tulsa was, and then you turn around and give up, you know, 3 interceptions, boom, boom, boom. Golly, and Dylan Gabriel playing outstanding football right now. It's tough to overcome that, and now the competition's in the process of getting a lot tougher when OU goes to Cincinnati this weekend. But last Saturday, OU was in complete control. And we'll talk more about that when we get back. But we're at the garage on Main Street. There are multiple garages around the metro area. Find one near you. The food is great. Beer is always cold, and they always have good sports on the tube. We'll be right back.
Let us help you get on your journey to feeling better and living a more healthy life. Dr. Gumman at Harmony Healing Center is dedicated to providing personalized care to each of his patients. Internationally trained and nationally recognized, with over 24 years of practice, Dr. Gumman is the highest recommended acupuncturist in Oklahoma. Call and schedule your appointment today.
Hi friends. Did you know that over 80 million men and women suffer from hair loss? Well, now there's help. Dr. Victoria Johnson and her staff at Laser Light Skin Clinic are introducing a revolutionary laser hair loss treatment called Alma TED. Alma TED uses a proprietary laser that will help stop hair loss and promote growth. For more information, give Dr. Victoria Johnson and her staff at Laser Light a call and stop hair loss today.
You are the most beautiful creation under the sun. Daily Informations. You are going to make Table 14 so happy. And you are being taken away. All right. At Neighborhood Jam, you deserve breakfast as beautiful as you. So start the day right with scratch-made favorites, morning or midday, every day. Treat yourself to Neighborhood Jam. You're gonna taste just as good tomorrow.
Oh man, dude, I really wish I could make that. It's National No Pants Day, and that'd be kind of inappropriate.
We actually just had gas station sushi, and you just don't want to chance that.
We're gonna be running tornado drills all day.
I have tickets to see Kenny Rodgers. He's what?
Tornado drill.
Your friends are tired of coming up with excuses. Two Fellas Moving Company, saving friendships since 1996.
Wander Folk Spirits, distilled out of Guthrie, Oklahoma. Great line of spirits. They have Wander Folk Gin, Wander Folk Vodka, and Old Moses Bourbon. All of these are quality products, and they're distilled right here in Oklahoma. So support Oklahoma business. Ask your favorite restaurant or bar to carry Wander Folk Spirits.
Let us help you get on your journey to feeling better and living a more healthy life. Dr. Gumman at Harmony Healing Center is dedicated to providing personalized care to each of his patients. Internationally trained and nationally recognized, with over 24 years of practice, Dr. Gumman is the highest recommended acupuncturist in Oklahoma. Call and schedule your appointment today.
Hi friends. Did you know that over 80 million men and women suffer from hair loss? Well, now there's help. Dr. Victoria Johnson and her staff at Laser Light Skin Clinic are introducing a revolutionary laser hair loss treatment called Alma TED. Alma TED uses a proprietary laser that will help stop hair loss and promote growth. For more information, give Dr. Victoria Johnson and her staff at Laser Light a call and stop hair loss today. And welcome back. Oklahoma Sports Report OU Football Edition. Mark Rodgers, Rick Heath here from the garage on Main Street in Norman. Mark, Dylan Gabriel had a fantastic game. Maybe the best game he's had at with an OU uniform on. He was 28 of 31, 420 yards, 5 TDs. I mean, he had a passer rating of 98, the highest in the country this weekend.
It was good. It looked a lot like week 1. He also there was only 3 incompletions in that game, like 3 incompletions in this game. And just Oklahoma was better at every position in the skill core. You know, even when they substituted guys, I thought Nick Anderson played a really good game. Drake Stoops was open whenever he wanted to be. They kind of keyed on him early to throw some balls in the short field near the goal line. So, again, I don't know how much you tell about the passing game. We know that Dylan Gabriel can be really good when he's comfortable, has time, and he had a lot of that. There's going to be a lot bigger challenges coming up, but played a great game on Saturday.
It was. You know, I mean, they had 3 100-yard receivers. First time they've had that in a long time. And that's not counting, as you said, Drake Stoops, 8 catches, 2 TDs. I mean, so all in all, it was a great passing display for OU. And for all those fans, raise your hand if you were there, one of those fans last against SMU, going, what happened to the offense? You know, because it was somewhat. And you can't tell me that wasn't designed to keep the offense in check against SMU.
It's a good question. I don't know. We don't know what goes on between Venables and Jeff Lebby, and there could have been an emphasis on, hey, let's try to run the ball. I mean, let's see if we can establish the run, because I'll tell you what, maybe they got tired of everybody like us complaining about it, because they didn't really try to establish the run, and I don't think they did establish the run against Tulsa. And so coming down the road, you're going to want to be able to run the ball. If you think about the Big 12 schedule last year, 3rd and 4th down was a real problem for the team. 3rd and 4th and short. We played different running backs this week. Saw guys that people have been clamoring to see. Still not the production on the ground that they need.
126 yards.
Well, and again, it's yards per carry average is not good.
That's a part. Kevin Wilson, the other side of the coach for Tulsa, used to always say, hey, give me 4.4. I need 4.4 yards per carry in order to sustain running attack.
They're under that. So again, I know fans want to see all the fireworks, and you could have gone out and I think done really what they wanted to against Tulsa. Cincinnati's going to be the best defensive front that they've faced all year. So you want to be able to run the ball.
Now, I understand that they have a really good defensive front. I saw Texas have some pretty good defensive guys too.
Yeah, Texas is much better than Cincinnati or Tulsa or Arkansas State or anybody that Oklahoma's seen so far.
Yeah.
And just the level of play in the Big 12 Conference will raise the bar a little bit. And certainly, is Oklahoma's offense ready to look good against Texas? That's a different question. We really won't know until that game. If it struggles in Cincinnati, then maybe we'll know, and it won't be something that is very good.
Well, and that's the question. I mean, as structured, Jeff Lebby's offense, he wants to run the ball effectively. All good offensive coordinators want to run the ball effectively. Not all can do it. Can OU? And that's the biggest question left unanswered. There's no more questions about can Dylan Gabriel get it done. The question is, can the offensive line come together and open enough holes for these running backs to start getting good chunk yardage instead of 3.2 yards per carry?
Well, we discussed this a little bit today on the radio. Is that this offensive line is good. It's well coached. It's not great. There's no Trent Williams on here. There's no Lane Johnson. There's no Cody Ford. There's a lot of guys that are good players. Ben Powers. There's a lot of guys that have played at offensive line at Oklahoma. Those bulldozing guards like those two we just talked about, the tackles like Lane Johnson and Trent Williams that are guys that are elite athlete on their feet, but yet still huge and big players. I think this offensive line is average, and maybe it's a little bit better and easier to protect the passer than it is to move people out of the way. This offensive line is all right, but you don't want to confuse it with some of the great lines that Oklahoma's had.
Well, and that's I think that Bill Bedenbaugh has always got his lines getting better as the season progresses. Now, has he seen enough progression yet? No, because he's still shuffling guys around. He's still moving guys in. He's taking starters out that started day one and are now on the bench, and he's putting guys in, redshirt freshmen, transfers, that in there, trying to find the right formula.
Well, They've got some veterans on there too. Andrew Rame is a veteran. He's played a lot of years. Walter Rouse has played a lot of years at Stanford.
Rouse didn't play much though on Saturday.
Again,
was that on purpose to get somebody else some more snaps?
No. I don't think so. I think if you're good enough to play, you play. That's the way that it works.
Well, I mean, Rouse came with a lot of hype, and he's been a good story, and I think he will be really good.
He started for 4 years on a bad football team at Stanford. It's hard for me to tell. In theory, yeah, should be really good. Like for example, Wake Forest leads the nation in sacks. Okay, but that's without Randall Boatright that came to Oklahoma, and I'm not dogging him personally. I'm just saying is that sometimes it's just because you were good at some place doesn't mean you're going to be good at another place, or start at one place, start at another place, or make an impact at another place.
And speaking of defense, we will talk about that when we get back here on the Oklahoma Sports Report, OU Football Edition from the garage on Main Street in Norman. Hi, friends. Did you know that over 80 million men and women suffer from hair loss? Well, now there's help. Dr. Victoria Johnson and her staff at Laser Light Skin Clinic are introducing a revolutionary laser hair loss treatment called Alma TED. Alma TED uses a proprietary laser that will help stop hair loss and promote growth. For more information, give Dr. Victoria Johnson and her staff at Laser Light a call and stop hair loss today.
You are the most beautiful creation under the sun. Daily Informations. You are going to make Table 14 so happy. And you are being taken away. All right. At Neighborhood Jam, you deserve breakfast as beautiful as you. So start the day right with scratch-made favorites, morning or midday, every day. Treat yourself to Neighborhood Jam. You're gonna taste just as good tomorrow.
Oh man, dude, I really wish I could make that. It's National No Pants Day, and that'd be kind of inappropriate.
We actually just had gas station sushi, and you just don't want to chance that.
We're gonna be running tornado drills all day.
I have tickets to see Kenny Rodgers. He's what?
Tornado drill.
Your friends are tired of coming up with excuses. Two Fellas Moving Company, saving friendships since 1996.
Wander Folk Spirits distilled out of Guthrie, Oklahoma. Great line of spirits. They have Wander Folk Gin, Wander Folk Vodka, and Old Moses Bourbon. All of these are quality products, and they're distilled right here in Oklahoma. So support Oklahoma business. Ask your favorite restaurant or bar to carry Wander Folk Spirits.
Let us help you get on your journey to feeling better and living a more healthy life. Dr. Gumman at Harmony Healing Center is dedicated to providing personalized care to each of his patients. Internationally trained and nationally recognized, with over 24 years of practice, Dr. Gumman is the highest recommended acupuncturist in Oklahoma. Call and schedule your appointment today.
Hi, friends. Did you know that over 80 million men and women suffer from hair loss? Well, now there's help. Dr. Victoria Johnson and her staff at Laser Light Skin Clinic are introducing a revolutionary laser hair loss treatment called Alma TED. Alma TED uses a proprietary laser that will help stop hair loss and promote growth. For more information, give Dr. Victoria Johnson and her staff at Laser Light a call and stop hair loss today.
You are the most beautiful creation under the sun. Daily Informations. You are going to make Table 14 so happy. And you are being taken away. All right. At Neighborhood Jam, you deserve breakfast as beautiful as you. So start the day right with scratch-made favorites, morning or midday, every day. Treat yourself to Neighborhood Jam. You're gonna taste just as good tomorrow.
And welcome back. Oklahoma Sports Report, OU Football Edition. Mark Rodgers, Rick Heath from the garage on Main Street in Norman. Hey, by the way, the garages, if you're hungry late, you're running around trying to find something to eat late on a Friday night or a Saturday night, they're open late. A lot of the garages stay open until 10 or 11 every weekend night or Friday night. So if you're looking for something good to eat, late night, and you're running around, look for a garage because you can pull in and fill up at a garage near you. let's talk about the defense. Still, not much pressure. Now, you can't tell anything from Tulsa. They got interceptions, but shoot, you could have thrown the ball better than the quarterback they had in there at the time.
It was not good.
It was not good, and he was just throwing it up and letting guys, supposedly his receivers run under it. Instead, the defensive backs were settling, going, okay, this one's mine. And they were taking turns getting interceptions off the guy.
Well, one way to illustrate what happened there to me is he looked like he was kind of playing very methodical, and the OU defense was so fast that it really wasn't anything like he'd seen in practice. And so I think that's, to me, I hesitate to say that OU's defense is going to stop everybody that they face, because they're going to play some really good offensive teams, and Texas has one of the best offensive skill sets that they've ever had at that school.
Yes.
Texas has had a lot of great running backs, but as far as receivers and tight ends go, it's maybe the best or one of the best that they've ever had. So I can't say OU's going to stop them. But the OU defense is playing better than they did a year ago. They're playing with more confidence. They're playing with more surety that they, I think, understand the schemes, and it's been pretty good so far. I think across the board, there was more in terms of 15 tackles for loss in that game, and it came from a lot of different positions. That and PJ Adebawore, true freshman, big time recruit. Got a sack and 2.5 tackles for loss. Those are the developments you want to see.
He came in and made a difference.
Yeah.
Peyton Bowen came in and has made a difference.
Those two guys are good players.
Yes.
And they are a step up from what OU's had.
And Bowen had a chance for an interception and to make a highlight play, and he was kicking himself when he dropped that.
Yeah.
Because he had open space in front of him. Those are the kind of things like Stunsman, Danny Stunsman. Interception, pick six. That's going to go on his highlight reel for any awards in the postseason. That's going to be a part of it. His story. Peyton Bowen had a chance to do something like that also. But the defense, we won't know. We'll know more at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's got better players, obviously, than Tulsa. But you're right. We may not know really how the defense and the offense plays until they get to Texas.
Yeah, teams are going to score at times. Emory Jones, to me, is a very average quarterback. He's a big kid. He doesn't throw it super accurately. He's got a strong arm. Cincinnati's averaging over 500 yards a game on offense. And the team that they lost to last week, Miami of Ohio, it's not a bad team. It's a top-of-the-tier MAC team that can challenge and play at times. So I do think that there's a lot of improvement in the defense. Danny Stutzman is a hell of a player. He's a great linebacker. I think that he's got a chance to be an All-American this year with the numbers that he had, plus the numbers that he had a year ago. He's more sure of how to operate the defense, and I think he's a guy that Oklahoma can really be proud of.
And there's, if you want to just, you have to nitpick the offense because they're playing at a high level on one side of the ball. On the other side of the defense, they still need to get more pressure with the front four on the defensive line. Not sure they can do that. We've talked about that before. That's a question mark. Linebackers play well, but sometimes they get a little out of position. The defensive secondary still has some gaps there. Tulsa made some throws. The second quarterback coming in, he made some good throws and showed that in that soft zone, there are holes. Now, did they play it that way on purpose? Maybe, but you still got to shore that up.
Well, I think, you've got inexperience at corner. Gentry Williams had an interception in the game Saturday, and I think that he's got really good athletic potential. Another big-time recruit that just has limited playing experience. The safeties, I don't think, are great coverage. Bowman and Bowen have potential to do that. Reggie Pearson really isn't a cover guy. He's a big hitter. The combinations are back there. I think with Adebawore, again, maybe he can provide some pressure off the edge. But again, we're comparing the defense to last year when it finished 123rd in the country in total defense? Much better. I think to me, there's no question it's much better. How much better we'll know in conference play.
Well, I'm going to be modest and say if OU finishes in the top 50, that'll be a good defense.
If they finish in the top 50, I think this team wins 9-10 games.
I like that. Okay, hey, we are at the Garage on Main Street in Norman, where if you're looking for the best burgers, coldest beer, and all the rest of the trimmings to go with it, come to the Garage and have good food and good fun. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Mark Rodgers, Rick Heath here with the Oklahoma Sports Report. from the garage in Norman. Mark, let's talk about OU Cincinnati going on the road. Basically, it's the first true road game because Tulsa is just up the road, and there were more fans for OU. I mean, you were at the game, you saw all the fans for OU. But anyway, at Cincinnati, more of a true road test, more of a true all-around test. How do you look at OU's offense against the Cincinnati defense, as you said earlier, is a much better defense than what they've found?
I think Cincinnati's going to watch tape and say these guys are having a hard time moving people out of the way in the run game, all right? And we've got a really good defensive front. And so I think that means we're going to be able to drop more people in coverage. We're going to be able to put some safeties high. We're going to be able to put some people underneath and make it difficult on OU to throw the football in those zones. And we're going to try to get some pressure with our guys. You know, Dante Corleone, you can beat your man and go get a sack and get that internal
pressure. He's a great defensive lineman that they have.
And they've got a good defensive front overall.
Yeah,
So
and he's got more than just him.
That's what they're saying. We'll get to predictions later in the show. But I'll tell you this. Don't sit here and think, Cincinnati, this is the first time they've ever played in the Big 12. It's a program that's used to success. They've been to New Year's Day bowls here recently and under Luke Fickell, played in the college football playoff. And so this is a team that this is going to be a tough game. This is not like you said, going to Tulsa. This is going to be a group that has a fan base. They'll be energized, and they're going to play. It's going to be a small stadium. It's going to be loud. This game is not going to be easy.
It's not. And they're only 1 year away from Luke Fickell being their coach and being that competitive all over the country.
I'm surprised that they have played as well as they have. I thought with all of the attrition that they have by far the least experienced offensive line in the conference, but they've been able to put up numbers. And so Scott Satterfield, I think, does a nice job as a coach. So this will be a test.
It will be a test. Now, OU, on the other hand, from the offensive point of view, Jeff Lebby knows that. He knows what he can read the film too and look at it. And surely the offense, I think, will have some success. On the other side of the ball is my question, okay? OU's defense against Cincinnati's offense.
All right, the biggest key for Oklahoma's defense is to contain the quarterback run game. We've seen it so many times that the Oklahoma defensive line will get a little bit out of position. They may allow some penetration this week and say, hey, look, we're gonna run a quarterback draw. And so for a defensive lineman, the offensive lineman's given ground, defensive lineman's going, I'm going to get that quarterback, and then all of a sudden you have massive gaps because the defensive back in the secondary reads pass while the defensive line is getting themselves out of position. So Emory Jones is big. He's as big as Danny Stutzman. He's as big as some of those other guys. You're going to have to contain that, and they've shown that their balance, running and passing. This is going to be a test. This is a bigger test than I think even SMU.
Yeah, it is, and especially on the road. They played SMU at home, which is the comfort zone, but now they're out of their comfort area. They're on the road and playing a much tougher opponent. We haven't talked much about special teams, but special teams have been important to OU this year.
But they really haven't needed special teams very much. So when I'm talking about punting and kicking, they have improved in the return game. I know Jaleel Farouk dropped one, but he did run it into opposing territory. So the return game, I think, is really good.
And that's the part I was talking about, because if, given any moment that Freeman or Farouk, either one, can break a good one, that's something that OU hadn't been able to rely on much.
These guys are having a good time over here. That's why
they got money on the game. They got money on the game. That's right.
Too early to tell.
Let's talk about some Big 12 matchups coming up. Big game. Kansas hosting BYU coming off a victory at Arkansas.
Well, if BYU can go Arkansas, Kansas win on the road back-to-back. That's really good. Kansas is a good defense this year. They're the top 25 total defense at number 25. I like Kansas at home, but nothing would surprise me here.
I wouldn't either. Kansas State, who got beaten the last-second field goal, hosts UCF. UCF is 3-0.
It's another good game. I mean, the new team in the conference, UCF, has looked great so far against their non-conference opponents. Going to Manhattan will be a little bit tougher. I like K-State to bounce back this week. I think they win this by 10-12.
Okay, and then you got SMU at TCU. We'll find out who's real there.
Man, I was a big believer in TCU at the beginning of the season, so I'm not giving up on them just because they lost to Colorado. Close, but TCU wins on the road.
And Colorado State game, did you stay up and catch that?
Of course I did. Yeah, that was fantastic all the way to the very end.
I wasn't able to make it as very, but I did wake up at 2:30 in the morning and check my phone.
I'm going to bed early tonight based on all I did on Saturday. I got up early, went to bed late, so I got one more. I got to sleep that off tonight.
Well, we're going to get you out of here so you can get to your bed there.
Thanks, Rick. That's why I'm drinking water.
That's going to do it for this week's show, the Oklahoma Sports Report. Oh, predictions real quick.
OU 34-20.
34-20, I got a 31-17.
Okay.
So we're
Right
close.
on the number.
We're right on it. Okay, hey, we'll be back next time here on the Oklahoma Sports Report.